Welcome back to the Charismatic Voice. I have heard this song before, but I didn't know that it was by Wham. And y'all have been asking me to analyze Wham for years, so I'm going to satisfy my desperate need for some Christmas music right now while doing a deep dive into these vocals for the first time. Let's get to it. Whoa. Okay. This is like sizzling. Yeah, I've heard this on Christmas playlist, right? I've never really listened to these vocals or gotten into them before. I don't think I knew that there was a little like ooh-ah, nice improvised intro here before. And oh, wow, it's steamy. It's like the opposite of the snow right now. Whoa, yikes. And it's also like so much more peppy than I remembered. It's like we got a little Robert Plant in here. Wow. His singing voice is so smooth and fresh, right? If you think about, yeah, it's this combination of that nice cold air when you breathe it in, this, right? But that has a bite to it. And instead, maybe it's actually when you're breathing out from that air and you've got that steam rising, really the fog of the warm air, because it's so smooth and it's a very attractive voice, y'all. Let's go back to the beginning. One more time. Required sleigh bells. Must have them if it's a Christmas song. It's like pretty much any song you have. If you just add sleigh bells to it, it'll suddenly sound Christmassy. Just in case you wondered, try it sometime. Pick like your least, the song that you think is least likely to be turned Christmassy, and then add sleigh bells to it. It'll be disturbing, but trust me, you'll feel the Christmas spirit. This song in the past, when I've heard it, I always felt like it was just such a downer to be a Christmas song. The only part I really remembered is, you broke my heart, essentially, so I'm going to give my heart to somebody else this Christmas, somebody that's actually special. It's so insulting, first of all. I'm going to choose someone special for my heart this year. But it actually has this weird uplifting feel to it. I'm a little bit stumped. Now I'm thinking, when I've heard this, just like walking through a mall, or I'm sure it's been on a Christmas mix playlist somewhere in my house before, a random mix, because it's a fairly well-known Christmas song. It's always just, I think I've maybe not understood it. So I'm gonna get really into this. Let's go back a little bit. Those are good eyes.
Someone
when they go on special, and honestly, almost the entire vocal line, there's so much smile in the sound. Smile meaning we literally hear the form of a smile in the vocal tract of the person who's singing. It's crazy. You can hear someone smile. It's not just a visual thing. With VO artists, it's very important to be able to add smile or take smile away from any sort of character read. A lot of times ad reads will say like it needs to have smile in the sound. And for singers, it can be very important to have access to different amounts of smile. There's smile that's out here, and there's like a brightness that's going to be from essentially changing the outer shape of the vocal tract. The vocal tract means basically anything from your vocal folds out, okay? Anything that's above and out. So the extent, like the furthest point away would be like the tips of your lip, or if you stick your tongue out really far, I guess your tongue can be the end of the vocal tract. But you can have a smile that's just on the front, and you can even have an inner smile. So opera singers use a lot of inner smile in their sound, where it almost feels like there's like lift between my molars. So I'll end up having a lot of soft palate lift, which really affects the inner shaping of the sound and creates a little sparkle inside. His sound has smile throughout. Special. When even say special, I can't imagine him really rounding, going special. It has so much smile inside and out. And then you put it with the words of last year, last Christmas I gave you my heart, but the very next day you gave it away. You're like, whoa, okay. Maybe this year the person really did find that someone special. Maybe that's what this is actually about, is like, hey, Christmas makes us sentimental, but now I know I'm with the right one. Maybe that's the actual story that lines up better with the mood overall from the music. So much smile. Why isn't there a pathway up to the house? Why are we all crossing over a fence? Like there should be like a door somewhere. Not sure about this hopping the fence idea in the snow to get to your Airbnb, which didn't exist when this movie was created. Side note, I keep looking at all of the people and I don't know who's who. Right, this is Wham. I just found out, just reading a little bit about the group before recording this. It's only a duo. I would have imagined this song to have been created by way more people, and it's just two people. You have George Michael and Andrew Ridgeley. And when I was asked recently if I'd ever heard George Michael, if I knew who George Michael was, I was like, yeah, Arrested Development, of course. And apparently when I watched that series, it just flew totally over my head that George Michael was named after this George Michael, who I still don't know what George Michael looks like and if he's even somebody on the screen. Completely flew over my head. So for me, George Michael, I will always think of first as being the character from Arrested Development. What a fun series. Okay. So those two had a thing last Christmas, right? If I'm getting this right, I feel like it's those two. And is this George Michael? Sorry. Is this George Michael? Because it seems like he's featured the most. Maybe we'll get somebody lip singing at the end, maybe possibly. Well, it's been a year. Oh my. We're going to go back, though, because as steamy and fun as that story was, what was even better was these really beautifully high, fluffy, steamy vocals here. Oh,
Twice shy.
like that line. Ooh, ooh. It's connected, but it didn't become thicker to be connected. A lot of times when we really want to connect something in voice, we'll end up making everything a little bit thicker. And to be able to connect something that's really fluffy and keep it effervescent is very tough. I think it requires, it's like a very light hand. You don't want to over support essentially to make this happen. It's delicate. It's perfect. It's like fudge at the holiday time, right? You can make it way too dense. You want to still have, well, some people really like dense fudge, but if you have something that's a little fluffier, I personally think that that's better, but can be harder to achieve.
Once bitten and twice shy. I keep my distance, but you still catch my eye. Tell me, baby, do you recognize
A
me?
really good rhythm.
It's been a year, it doesn't surprise me. Happy Christmas. I wrapped it up and sent it with a note saying I love you. I meant it. Now I know what a fool I've been. But if you kissed me now, I know you'd fool me again. Last Christmas, I gave.
Wow. I loved the character of throughout here in the storytelling and the line, the way that he was able to keep it very light overall, almost like there was a little hush or a little whisper on the sound at all times, but then we get just a little sassy, like bringing in a tiny bit of blues into the vocal expression. But overall, the thing that was crazy impressive was how well he was hooked into his rhythm of his consonants. A lot of singers don't take it upon themselves to bear the responsibility of rhythm. Instead, they're like, oh yeah, the band's going to take care of it. I'm just going to sing. And I can't get behind that. Like, while, yeah, that can work, it never is going to work as well as a singer who says, yes, my consonants are a part of this beat. They help establish the beat. I can control the feeling of the groove with my consonants. Michael Jackson really takes that to heart. And here, George Michael from Wham definitely does this extremely well. I'm going to go back actually a little more. Just listen to the way that he establishes and accentuates different elements of the groove with his consonants.
Christmas, I wrapped it up and sent it with a note saying I love you. I meant it. Now I know what a fool I've been. But if you kissed me now, I know you'd fool me again. Last Christmas,
Wow.
I gave you my heart, but the very next day you gave it away. This year, to save me from tears, I'll give it to someone special. Last Christmas, I gave you my heart, but the very next day you gave it away. This year, to save me from tears, I'll give it to someone special.
I really dig the way that we have the first time that this chorus was sung, it was just a solo. And then I think the second time we had a double, maybe even a triple in there. It was, it added so many elements, like where there'd be a voice that would kind of go off and doodle just a little bit and then come back. And that way we didn't just get a strict repeat of the chorus, but something that really added more to it. It added little excursions of emotion to bring different energy and different attention to different parts. I'm going to go back just here and notice with me where those moments happen and think about why the attention was drawn to that particular doodle.
Christmas, one special.
Here we go.
Last Christmas I gave you my heart, but the very next day you gave it away. This year, to save me from tears, I'll give it to someone special.
Both times that happens, it feels like it's really more longing and an extra pack of emotion that was added to the chorus. Guys, I don't think you can hide it. That's a lot of steamy looks. Side note, obsessed with this actress's eyes. She's so amazing at telling a story with her eyes without her forehead or any other part of her face moving. It's just her eyes, they are so, so expressive. Wow. He uses his air so well. There's this idea I love, I think is so useful to singers. It's been very useful to me in singing. It's been very useful to students. And I think it's one of the ways I also identify really fantastic singing. And it's when somebody rides their air, like thinking about it like a wave of air. You know, maybe you're surfing waves of water. I mean, I personally think that this is like a hoverboard that we're riding on here, okay? And the hoverboard is your voice, in case you weren't sure. Riding the air is this idea that you always have air available and you can choose to essentially give it a little more gas or less, but no matter what, the voice is just like floating on top of it. The air is this like undercurrent that's powering everything. And here you can really hear different ways where there'll be a sudden rush of extra air energy that he brings in, or maybe this idea sometimes where it almost sounds like he'll think about spinning the air faster. His voice is so attached to his air energy at every single moment. You don't ever get the impression that there's not enough air energy to do anything that his mind can possibly conceive of doing. I like the way he bridged that phrase. My God. Oh my. Oh, this is all about last Christmas. Put out there, like, it's best to not date friends in friend circles. I've made this mistake plenty of times. It took me a while to learn. But just like, resist if you can. And if you can't, then maybe it's the thing. Oh, that's some heartbreak. He was about to do something big there. They really expanded this time on the different vocal lines and again took that chorus to a next level, something that we hadn't heard before. I feel like this song is a lot less repetitive than I thought in passing. And it really, it's definitely not boring. It's one of those songs that has so many extra elements in it that if you take the time to think about it and super, like, just marinate in it, you'll discover all kinds of extra flavors in the song that are fantastic.
Last Christmas, I gave you my heart. The very next day, you gave me away. To save me from tears, I'll give it to someone special. Face on a lover with a fire in his heart. Gave you a man undercover to tear him apart. Maybe next
I love the way that there's this big contrast of soaring lines that are much more full, and then I would say ground zero, which is a lot more personal and has this intimate hush in the sound. He has a wide range of different tone qualities he's able to achieve, but they've also produced this in a really clever way. That soaring line would normally be way louder, and the line that has more smile and hush in it, that would be a lot quieter. But in producing, they've brought the dynamics of the two much closer together so they balance each other well. Oh, Merry Christmas and thank you. For such a simple melody, this song actually has a huge vocal range. I think that the simple melody is great to help people sing along because it's Christmas music. People want to sing along. But I never realized that disguised beneath it was this incredible vocal prowess. Just super awesome, steamy, so capable of like a huge range, both pitch-wise and tone quality. It's George Michael from Wham has a very, very exciting voice. If y'all just haven't had enough Christmas music yet, you can check out an analysis playlist over here with some more holiday music. And may you fall more in love with music every day.